back, everybody, to our C++ text RPG series. Today we're going to be looking into the party class. Party is a group of players or members that are being used together in a game. This is a great way to monitor and control your resources. It allows members to be added easily into the game or old characters to be removed. It also allows us to be able to swap their position, change their equipment, and share the items. So let's talk about some resource management. Being in a party allows for easy access to all of the resources in the inventory and making them available to each player. All of the players will have access to the inventory via a reference, and this will allow the player to use items and equipment. Some of the places where this would be necessary would be in the item menu, equipment menu, item shops, equipment shops, battle system, etc. So let's talk about some changes that we're going to have to do in the player class. We'll need to add a reference to the inventory. We'll have to have a bool to see if the player is active. We'll also want to be able to control the player's position in the party. This will allow us the ability to reorder the players and swap them out for different players that are not currently active. This is kind of an old mock-up to how I wanted to do the player class. Some of these functions have already been changed and added to the actor class instead, such as get name, etc. Those are already in the actor class, so we don't actually do that in the player class. But we will investigate this when we get into the coding video. Here's a sample of what the party class could end up looking like. As you can see, we'll have the inventory, a vector of players, the gold, the number of active players, the maximum players. The party will also contain the adding and removing functions, access to the inventory, gold, buying items, buying equipment, etc. Alright, let's get started on creating the party class. Alright guys, so let's get started working on the party class. But before we do that, we have to make some changes to the player class. So the first thing we're going to add is we're going to add in a reference to the inventory. We need to add if it's active or not. Is the player active, like active in the party? And we're going to want to have its position. The position is going to be used for organizing where we want the member to be. So let's just add in the inventory. All right. Then we're going to need to get the inventory as a reference as well. We're also going to want to have void set active, active, that's not right. And we want to is active. Then we're going to want to have the set the player position or set party position. And we're going to want to get this position. Position, can't really spell today, const, return, and party position. All right, and I think that's good. Now we can come and just like always, we're going to add a new item and we're going to call it the party. Party.h. Cool. And then from here, so for the party class, we're going to need include memory, include vector, and then we're also going to have the inventory. Where did I put this party? Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. So we actually, I meant to put that in source. Let's move it to there. And now let's get the inventory. Okay, and we're also going to want to forward declare the player. because we're going to be using the inventory, we don't want to have circular dependency. Class party, and the party is going to have a private vector of shared pointers of players, and that's going to be m party members. We're going to have the inventory. You know what, we'll make this a unique pointer. You know what, we'll just keep it like this for now. If we want to change it later, we'll change it later. Inventory and inventory. Now we're gonna have, let's have some const. Oops. Const int max active members. We'll have that for const int max just members is equal to 16. Now we might not ever have 16, but 16 will be what we have for now. And then we'll have const int max gold. We'll just have that equal to 99999 for now. We may change that later. So we're going to need a gold variable, and you know what, let's put these consts up here, and then int number of active members, num active members. Okay, so now let's have public party constructor destructor bool add member, and that will take in a shared pointer of player. We'll just call it new member. Bool remove member. Const std w string, and that will be the member ID. And bool, do we want to eliminate it? Eliminate, and we'll have that as false. So eliminate means completely remove from our member variable. So remove member could just set the member as inactive or completely eliminate the member. And then, so we're gonna have to have our get inventory reference, get inventory. Return and inventory. Now we're gonna also want to do std vector. We want to be able to get the party members. Std shared pointer player reference, and let's get in your party. I guess we could do this here. Return m party members. Then we want to const get gold, add gold, const int get gold, const return m gold. So then we'll have void add gold. This one will have some checks in it, so we'll do that on another page. Const int get number of active members. And we'll start with that. Oh yeah, sorry, we're gonna have another one as well. So we're gonna have bool buy item in price. Shared pointer item. And then it's going to have a bool buy equipment. Now we are going to probably need to do, we are probably going to need to do sell and sell item and sell equipment, but we'll worry about that later. Oh, whoops. Silly me. All right, that's a good start for that. So let's start defining these. All right, so let's define these. So we have our party here. All right, so before we actually do anything here, let's start a new utilities, and we'll just call it JRPG utilities. And here we're going to have some functions that we'll be using in multiple places in the game. The one that we're going to make for today is, so we're going to need to include vector here. Just a simple template. And we'll just call it void remove item. Oh, we'll just call it remove. So this remove function is just going to be for us to remove an item or an element from a vector at a specific index. Oh, sorry. We want to call this v for vector. We'll call it vec. Vec dot erase. So this will remove the item or erase the item at the index from the beginning. So that's what it's checking here. Okay, so we're going to need this for removing if we're actually eliminating the party member. So let's go back to party. We'll also be putting other functions here as we need them. We don't need more right now, so this is good. Let's go back to the party. And let's do our initializing. Party members, empty vector, inventory, gold, and that will initialize as 0, and non-active members 0. Okay, so those are initialized. So let's do our add member function. So if we just want to check to see the party member's size is greater or equal to the max members. Oh, so we actually have to put some includes here that I forgot that we have to add. So we're going to want to add player, and we're going to want the logger. We're going to want the utilities. And that's good for now. Whoops. So let's just log an error here, JRPG error. There are already that will return false. So where this calling is from. So this logs an error, and this will also return false. If it returns false, it'll basically will have something that comes up on the screen that says unable to add more members or something like that, or saying that you have to remove one. Someone has to be removed. The chances of this ever happening is very low though. Okay, so what's next? So now we're going to want to, now we have to check to see if the member is already in the party. Now, I don't know if we put it in here. Let's take a look. No actor. So yeah, see, we didn't give the actor an ID, so we need to give the actor an ID as well. MS-ID. Why do we, it needs to have an ID because you may name an actor the same name. You could have all the actors with the name Dustin, for instance, but its ID will be its own, so we need that. And we can add that here. Basically, it's the same idea. So get ID. Go back to our player. And we're going to want to set the ID as well. Const wstring reference ID. So let's go back to actor as well. Change the actor constructor. We're going to have to add this here. Actually, cool. Player gets the ID here. All right. And then I forgot, we also have to add the inventory to the player as well. So the inventory reference inventory. So yeah, there's a lot of changes for this round. So you want to set the inventory to the inventory passed into the player, and that will be passed from the party before the player is added to the party. You'll see. And we can also go active. Holy Craig. Okay, back to the party. All right, so now we want to check to see if the member's already in the party, and we're going to be checking for the ID. So we'll loop through all of the party members that are in the vector and check to see if there's the ID is there. If the ID is there, it will return false and say player is already active. So let's do that now. So for const auto reference member. So we're just doing a range for loop here. Party members. So if member get ID is equal to new member get ID basically I want to do this as well. Let's copy this, put this here. All right, so we do that there. Then we're going to want to check to see if the number of active members is less than the number of members in use. Because if it's less than the number of members that were already in use, then the maximum, then we're going to set them as active. And then no matter what, we're still pushing them back into the party, but we want to set them active here and set their position based on the number of active members. So if number of active members is less than max active members, we want to go new member, and we want to set the member as active. Then we want to increase the number of active members by 1, so just increment by 1. Then we want to set the new member party position, set party position, to the number of active members. And then here, we're going to want to push that member back into our party of members. Vector, push back. And we're going to want to move that member in because it's a smart pointer and it's shared pointer. Shared pointers can be copyable or movable. We're going to move this one in. And then if we can make it this far, we return true. All right, so that's the add member function. So now let's look at the remove member function. So as you can see here, the remove member function is taking in the member's ID. It wants to see the ID, not the name, because the names could be the same if you want, but you can't change the ID. We want to know if we want to eliminate it. So we'll do that here. So we're basically wanting to do the same thing, but we want to keep track. So this one we're just going to do a regular for loop, int I is equal to 0, I is less than m party members dot size. And I plus plus. So inside of this, we're going to go auto member is equal to m party members at I. And we go if so if that's why it wasn't working. Member get ID is not equal to member ID. Continue. And if not, we want to member set active false. Take away from the active members, and then we're going to want to check. So if eliminate, we're going to want to remove m party members at I. And we get here, return true. And if we get there, if we make it out, that means it went through, it had no IDs, didn't remove, didn't return true, so it never got to here. So if it goes here, return false, because we are unable to remove the active member. And we can actually JRPG error. Failed to remove the party member. All right, so now the add gold function. So the add gold, we're just going to want to check if m gold is greater and equal to max gold. m gold is equal to max gold return. We're not going to want to add any gold, but if it's not, then we're going to go m. Actually, let's do this after. M gold plus equals gold. Then we just do our check. Doesn't have to worry about the return. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. So we're adding the gold in, checking to see if it's beyond max gold or equal to max gold. If it is, we set it to max gold. All right, now the buy item. Now we don't have shops or anything active yet in the game, but we're still going to do these functions. So the buy item is just if m gold is less than equal to price. We're just going to want to return false. And if not m. So if we're unable to actually add the item, oh, my add item is not a bool. No, it isn't. So we're going to have to change that. So let's go to the inventory. Bring this out. Go here, hit F12 again. Yeah, so let's change all of these to bools. Go to inventory. Bool. Yeah, we haven't even got those functions done. We should do those too. Bool. Bool. Okay. We'll do these after though. They're not that necessary at the moment. Alright, so if not inventory add item. Let's have an error. JRPG error. Failed to add the item to the inventory. We can actually copy this, move it down here. Add equipment. Yeah, okay, so anyway, we're trying to add the item here. So it's already checked to see if the price, if we have enough gold to pay for it. And then we're trying to add it here. This does all the adding. This will do all the adding for us. Right now we don't have it done, but we'll handle that after. So right here, we're trying to add it. If it doesn't add the item, we'll get an error. This will also have its own error, so there'll be double errors here. And if it does, if it gets past this, then we'll subtract our gold. Just the price of it. Check the gold. And gold is less than equal to 0. Let's just set it to 0. All right, and then if we make it all the way here, return true. I believe we can do the same for the equipment class. Just add this here. Same idea. So if it goes in as the equipment, if it fails, it won't work for us. We'll leave. If it doesn't fail, we'll add the gold. All right, so that looks like a good start for the party class. In the next video, we're gonna actually finish off the inventory because I forgot that we didn't finish this. We'll finish off how to fill out those inventory and then hopefully get into creating the menus.